Have you ever had trouble sleeping and you've tried all kinds of sleep aids and you don't get results? Today I'm going to talk about why that happens, because you aren't the failure. There's a reason why when something doesn't work. I'm going to go through the things that impact sleep and also why sleep is so very important. And when you're not getting enough sleep, it impacts every area of your life. And then I'm going to share with you a tool that I have found, a technology that's incredible for sleep, for children, middle age, older age. But let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, sleep is how we rest. It's how your brain refreshes short-term memory. That's what goes when the brain goes. It also is when the body detoxifies from 11 at night until about 6 in the morning. That's when your detox organs are active to clear out toxins, to detoxify and build your immune system. So when you wake at certain times, that just tells you where detoxification is being challenged. It's being stressed. And so I've worked with people for years and helping them improve their sleep. But every now and then I'd run across somebody that it didn't matter what they did with their diet. It didn't matter what supplements they would take. They would go to bed and somewhere, usually between 11 and 3, I remember one woman, and we had tried everything. And then I asked her a key question. This is a very important question if you have trouble sleeping. Have you ever had trauma at night? Have you ever been abused at night? Can't tell you how many people look at me, tears, stories. This one woman, when I asked her that question, we had tried everything. And she said, at first it was nonchalant because she just lived with it. She was sexually abused by her father for about 4 years as a middle school. She had attempted suicide twice between 10 and 12 at night. She also had 2 affairs that happened between 10 and 12 at night. So her brain, this part of her brain, her subconscious, not her logic. We're not talking logic. We're talking back here. This part of your brain, whose God-given purpose is to say, am I safe? Am I not safe? Safe, not safe. Safety isn't logical. It's what's known, predictable, and familiar based on our experiences. And clearly for this woman, being horizontal at night between 10 and 12, all the triggers and all the alarms would go off, and there was nothing that would override that until we identified that, and then we just did the emotional work to clear that, and guess what happened? She slept. She slept. And I was as excited for her as she was for her, because that was huge. Now, let's just take that story and put it over here for just a minute, and let's look at this sleep pathway. The sleep pathway is a pathway up to the brain through the nervous system. It includes all of the brain. And when it's out of balance, then you tend not to sleep well. You may take melatonin, that may or may not work. You may do resets, that may or may not work. You may do different sleep gummies. And it's like you never get into that deep REM sleep and wake refreshed. When I found that the Super Patch Company had a patch called REM for deep sleep, I thought that could be really powerful, because a lot of people today don't sleep deeply. They have trouble going to sleep, they have trouble staying asleep, and they don't wake refreshed. And I have found so many people, from children all the way up, all ages, are finding that their sleep is just incredible. They go to sleep, they sleep deeply, they wake refreshed. And every now and then, I've had maybe 3 or 4. It doesn't work for me. And I said, well, first of all, if you're not sleeping well, we know that pathway's out of balance. What we do know is if you put a patch on that's designed to put that pathway into balance, the patch does do that. Science has proven it with a 1 in 1,000 chance of a placebo effect. So what's going on? With every one of those people I have asked, have you had any trauma? or any abuse at night. Just recently, I asked a woman that. She loves the Liberty patch, the Freedom patch. She's getting great results. She said, this one doesn't work for me. And I said, well, has there been any trauma? Tears started falling, and I said, it's not that it didn't work. It's just not safe right now for you to be horizontal at night and sleep, because you're in fight or flight during that time. So the exciting thing to me about the patches is they put a pathway in balance. If it's a pathway that's already in balance, like focus for me, yeah, that I don't need that. Kick it for addictions, yeah, that's not one of my issues. REM, I get pretty good sleep on a scale of 1 to 10, probably an 8. But with REM, it's so much deeper. If I happen to wake up, I go right back to sleep and I wake refreshed. So I know this works. But there are people who have been through trauma. So it's not safe to be in that balanced state. What if you could then work on it? Identify what to do, clear that trauma. I work with a couple of trauma experts, and as they help people clear that trauma, even themselves having gone through trauma, as they clear the trauma, guess what's working for them? The REM patch. Because even when it was a little bit bumpy, they were getting deeper sleep. They were waking refreshed. So I just want to encourage you, if you try a patch and you think, it doesn't work for me, just consider if being in a state of balance for that area, whether it's in peace. What does it mean to you to be in peace? Is that a safe place to be? Or does it mean you can't be an overachiever because you might be lazy? Yes, I had one person that experienced that. We just had a conversation, talked through it. Now it's working. Sleep, though, is the one it's a common one because there's been trauma. I want to encourage you that God always has a way to heal a trauma. So don't stop by thinking you can't sleep or there's no way out and there's something wrong with you. You just got some significant insight that now you can address. And if you have questions, you can put a comment down below in the chat, or you can contact us at Lifestyle for Health so we can point you to different people who might be able to help you, because there's nothing better than a good night's sleep. And just remember, there's always a reason for a pattern, and there's always an easy option forward. And at Lifestyle for Health, we're all about easy.